This installation is titled Tele-Present Water, and it's a waveform that uses data collected from a national oceanographic and atmospheric administrative buoy in the middle of the Pacific. And it gets wave height and wave period, wave frequency data from that buoy, and then outputs it to this mechanical grid structure. So yeah, it's recreating the physical effects of the water in this remote location at the National Museum here in Wrocław. I live on Lake Superior, and it's I think it's the second largest lake in the world, and it's very beautiful in Minnesota. And I took a sailing trip with a friend of mine last summer and spent several days on the boat on the lake. And if you're on a boat for several days like that, you start to become acclimated and start to become sort of familiar with the up and down movement, and your body just kind of acclimates to that. And then of course when you get off the boat, you can still kind of feel the movement of the water. And so I wanted to maybe recreate that effect, I suppose, in the gallery space. There's a pretty elaborate mechanism up above us here that's controlling the wave, and even though this mechanism is high up in the space, I still like to show it. I think of it as part of the piece in terms of the composition of the piece, and so I think that that's an important thing for viewers to be able to see the mechanism and how it's being articulated by this somewhat elaborate mechanism of it's actually 11 motors that are controlled by a microcontroller, and then there's a computer up above that's sending the data, collecting the data from the buoy and then sending it to the motors and then outputting that as movement here. A lot of my work does have to deal with data visualization of different sorts, and yeah, I suppose this is a very qualified way to visualize the data, and I'm coming at it from a sculptural background, and a lot of my work also deals with intersections between natural and mechanical systems. And so with this piece, I constructed it out of this very artificial material to create a formal contrast with the natural movement of the wave. On a superficial level, you think of this as kind of a formal contrast between natural and machine, nature and machine, I guess. But as I work with these systems, I become very fascinated by, I suppose, the unpredictable nature of machines and how they can behave in unpredictable ways. And one of the things I really like about the way this movement occurs is it's not very mechanical. It's sort of glitchy and undulating, and maybe has a feeling like the surface of the water. And that was something that I couldn't quite predict when I was creating the piece, but I think it's a nice sort of unexpected. And I think it's these sort of unexpected maybe foibles or maybe mistakes in the machine that make the work interesting and keep me interested in it. So it's not something I can really strive for in terms of setting out to do it, but I really enjoy it when it happens. I suppose you could call it a happy accident, I guess, in some ways, yeah.